Hello everybody, welcome back to the Happy Life Show channel.
Hello everyone.
Hello, let me introduce to you my lovely husband, Ozay Tulku Rinpoche. There he is.
Oh, yes, and let me introduce you to my beautiful, wonderful, she's a great cook, she knows how to cook. She does Dutch food, she does Suriname food, she does me good food, she does salad chips, fish and chips, and she's really good. Beautiful wife, Ahiranta! Yay!
Lately you're cooking outside, don't you? He cooked, Ozay turned 66 last week. And for his birthday, one of the things he was given was a rocket stove. Because apparently everybody in the world, most people, not sure, the electric and the gas prices have gone up. So we have taken refuge in using pellet wood and use that for our cooking.
Off-grid as much as you can, guys.
And it's great fun.
Plant a tree as well. I've been planting trees. Apple trees, fruit trees for humans.
Yeah.
And oak trees for the world. And all sorts of trees.
And rocket stove for cooking.
Yeah.
Okay, we have again a list with remarks or questions from our subscribers. So this video is about reacting to whatever they have written to us.
Yeah.
And Ozay is going to say something about it.
But please don't make them too hard because I've got a simple mind.
Yeah, don't like lots of stuff in our mind. Okay, here we go. Some people are so poor, all they have is money.
I agree with that. Some people are very poor. And so, what is richness? People start off as it's really the pursuit of happiness, and we're always like right through the educational system. It's all geared up to be successful. What's successful? Well, to have lots of money. And what's to have lots of money? Is to be happy. Only trouble is, but
Doesn't work like that, does it?
doesn't work like that. Look at the children that's born into a successful family who's rich beyond belief.
So-called successful.
Look over in Hollywood and see what happens, to them and their children. Like, for instance, that what's his name? Pirates of the Caribbean, Johnny Depp.
Johnny, yeah.
And he's going through a court case now. And they got lots of money, those people, and they got more than they need. And she's taken 10 million off him, he wants, or something, 100 million.
Well, you
whatever,
don't really follow it, but they're not very happy.
All you need is a roof over your head, water, warmth, and
Somebody to spend your time with. Some people prefer that than being alone.
The thing is, right, so you young and you go out there, or you're old and you've been through all of it and seen it, done it, and wore the t-shirt. And so as youngsters we start off and we are looking for direction and happiness we want, and we are convinced that happiness lies in material possession. Only trouble is, if it makes us happy to have lots of money, lots of material possession, what we don't realise is we become prisoners, unknowingly, unconscious prisoners, and we are held to ransom because the more we got, the more got hold of us. And that is like, if that goes wrong, I'm unhappy because that makes me happy. If that goes wrong, if it's gone, I'm unhappy. So I have to keep control over all this, over all these things. And so there's that side of it. And so that which makes you happy makes you got the power over your unhappiness, your misery.
Yes, that's right.
In a way, although I won't go too far into that, because I think that those who require that are the ones who go for that, and they have the spiritual lessons all through their life. And then one day, when they come to it themselves, then they'll say, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that. Misery, misery, misery. And
money comes with responsibility too, isn't it?
Yeah. And then you get those that have got nothing to achieve. Like, for instance, all the time you're busy, you're happy, well, not happy, I would call it a kind of, you're just sailing along and you're getting through your life, and you're waiting for next week's wages, and or the next holiday, and or whatever. And then, what if you get so much money you're taken out of the sailing along thing, and you just
what is going to push you forward?
Yeah, it's as bad as being like with nothing, because there's nothing for you as a very wealthy person, and unless you've got, you know, your fingers going into other things and you keep it going. But if you've accomplished the greatest wealth you've set out to achieve, then there's nothing left. And all of a sudden you become a pauper again. And because there's nothing to keep you sailing along, there's nothing to keep you interested in life, interested in people, interested in doing things. And so, because you came to the end of your goal, and that's why a lot of those people end up in addiction, self-comforting. You know, they end up drug taking, they end up crazy kind of sex, perverted sex, they end up with alcoholism and things like that. So there's something missing, still missing. And so we say...
And money doesn't replace it.
And money can't replace it. And it happens both at the rich end and the poor end.
Yeah.
Addiction kicks in, self-comforting, and then we're still back at square one.
So the only happiness we truly can count on is that which we find inside ourselves without any outside means, isn't it?
Yeah. And that normally happens when we've let go of everything. And for an example, if, I don't know, you've ever seen the images on your TV of those children, really poor children in Thailand or Bangkok, no, not Bangkok, India, and they barely got clothes on their body, you know, to cover their bodies properly. And what do you see? Like, you know, you see these big wide smiles on their faces. They're so happy, like, aren't they? And that's in. How can they be happy? They got nothing.
That's what we think. We think they have nothing.
Yeah. If the ethics of happiness is about the more you got, the happier they are. Well, those kids are found it. And you know, they say about intelligence, this always comes to mind too for me when I talk about happiness. What is intelligence? Well, let's look at it, right? Intelligence. We are conditioned to believe that an intelligent person is somebody who can learn the most amount of information, retain it in their mind, and then spit it out when it's needed. Like an examination. That's an intelligent person. Passed his test, he got a A over an A. And so what is those tests for? Those intelligent tests for? It's for, what is it for? It's for the economical world. It's for job. It's for success. It's for money and riches and material wealth. But hang on a minute now, if that's an intelligent person, how come he hasn't worked out? That's not going to bring him to the end happiness that he requires. So is an intelligent person a person who pursues wealth? Or is an intelligent person somebody who bypasses that, lives on just enough and finds the shortest route to happiness? And the shortest route to happiness is within the self. It's not outside things. If it makes you feel joy, it's only pointed out that there is something inside you that can be happy, but you have to use an artificial mechanism to find it.
Yeah.
And what you have to do, our trick is to find that mechanism within ourselves and switch it on.
Okay. I hope that was enough. That was a 10-minute answer.
A 10-minute answer, yeah. What was the whole answer?
Okay. Cheaters accuse you of cheating. Liars accuse you of lying. Insecure people crumble your security. Behavior speaks. How someone treats you is no reflection on you. It reflects who they are.
Yeah, I agree. So what's the question there then?
No, that's not a question.
It's absolutely true. I agree.
They ask if are they correct with thinking that.
I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah.
Because I've done a lot of work on the internet and with the crazy wisdom Buddhism, and what we do is we step on sensitive corns, and it's interesting. People become angry with you. You know, it's like I've always said that we are not the person we say we are. As soon as we say I, we're a liar. And so I've joined religious groups and I've tried to help out to inspire people to look deeper and more further. And therefore, they believe they are so far up the path, as they call it. And if I step on a corn, which says, they say something like, I am realized to this point. Okay, yeah. So how do you know that? Well, because I read it in the book. And I've done this meditation and that meditation, and I've got this jhana, that jhana. And then I'll say, well, I don't know if I agree with that. And then suddenly I'll turn it into a little bit of conflict. And I say, well, you don't seem to show that you're like that. And, then they go, what do you mean? What do you mean? I've done it for years and years. Who are you? You don't even know who so-and-so is, and you don't even know, and I don't read books. And I am reading a book now, actually, and it's very rare for me to do that, but sometimes we are directed in certain places. And anyway, so I stepped on a sensitive corn, and then I say, well, look, if you was really realised as far as you believe you are, then you wouldn't have reacted like that. So you haven't got that amount of control over your inner self, your reactive self, to condone that you've reached this point of realisation. And that belief is actually holding you back from getting there. And so you have to count to 10 and start again from the beginning. And for some people, it's the more information is an egoistical identity. They identify as being realised at that point. So I think that answers that.
Yeah. Why are we afraid of losing when nothing on earth belongs to us?
Well, that's all easy said, isn't it? You know, and it's easy to say than to do, isn't it?
It's the attachment, isn't it?
Yes, of course, and it's our insecurity again. We think that by grasping, because remember the breath, you know, it all relates. Everything relates to everything. There's nothing that doesn't relate to nothing. And the breath, and we breathe in, that's grasping for life. We breathe out, that's letting go of life. And so in reality, everything is perishable. That's the reality of where we are living in this form. Although our souls are eternal and playing silly buggers with us by sending us here to learn these lessons, to grow, to become universes unto ourselves. And but we grasp because we are instinctive animal, and we require comfort. We require, and comfort is by, we feel that grasping is comforting, and we feel safe. But it's a fake sense of security, because there's no such thing as being unsafe, and there's no, physically you can be unsafe, but we imagine a lot more a lot more unsafe situations the more there is in reality. And so therefore we have to let go of everything that we grasp due to our insecurity. And
it stops us also.
It's a practice.
It stops us from progressing in meditation.
Yeah. It's easy said than done, and that's why we need to sit and dissolve our instinctive nature. And the instinctive nature is all about grasping and holding on to life, feeling, letting go. And it's like something that gives us pleasure in a way is the same thing in repeating itself, we grasp life and the things in life, and then as soon as we lose them, we die in a way. So we live and we die, we live and we die, we live and we die, because we grasp, we have to let go, we grasp, we have to let go, and it's suffering. And eventually we get to that, the stillness, by having to let go of all those things that cause suffering.
Next. Yeah. Kindness makes you the most beautiful person in the world, no matter how you look.
Well, actually, there's lots of kindnesses, and I remember a story. I'll tell you a story once about something that happened to me. I was in a spiritual healing circle, and we were all like volunteers, and we'd stand around spiritual healing. And one of the healers, she said, well, you know, that person out there, every week he comes here on a Wednesday and I do it for him, and he never even says thank you. And I'm here, I don't get paid for this, you know, I don't get nothing for it. And it's all from the goodness of my heart, my kindness. And I said, hang on a minute now, your payment is expectancy, and you're expecting your ego to be polished up by people saying how great you are for doing this for me for nothing.
Making her feel important.
And yeah, she feels, so her payment is getting that reward. And if you do something, it's like Jesus once said, an act of charity or an act of giving, it's not about you. You don't belong in the equation. I don't belong in the equation. Me don't belong in the equation. True charity is complete giving without nothing coming back. And don't expect nothing, because if you expect anything at all, it's no longer charity.
And it's the expectations that makes it ugly.
Because
you use another person.
Yeah.
You are using another person to make yourself feel good,
Yeah.
instead of giving to help the other person forward freely.
Yeah.
You use the other person.
Yeah, it's not only that.
And that's ugly.
Yeah, the other implication of it as well is that the energy of healing has become corrupted.
Yeah.
Because you're not there is the divine consciousness is all around us, and it connects us. But if we want to be a healing channel, then we must lose the ego, and the ego, if it's in expectancy, it's not taking it in and sending it through in divinity. So you can't bring ego into it in any way. So if you're a healer and you do spiritual circles and you expect kindness back, then you better go back to the drawing board, purify yourself a bit more in meditation, and get rid of the I, the me, the mine, and the rest of it.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay. Oh, well, a bit of war going on. Somebody asked us if Putin is the reincarnation of Julius Caesar. But we don't know, do we?
Well, I first thing I want to say about that is that to start with, politics is always dangerous. And what I will say, I'll just give a short answer to this one, and that is, don't believe anything the media is telling you, because they are all corrupt, and they're not speaking the truth the way it is. Not the NATO, the Western countries, nor Russia. They're all not being truthful and honest.
Yeah.
They are corrupted. So whatever you hear, don't believe it.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say.
Because, but I would like to say something about that too, because we don't know if he was Julius Caesar, so that's the answer there. But they report how certain countries don't allow people to speak freely. But if you look closely what they are doing about this war at the moment, they only highlight it from one side.
Yeah.
So in a way they do exactly the same thing, but it's just so hidden, and so we have to be really careful. We have to listen to our own conscience and see that the Russian people are also human beings, and us, we are human beings, and most human beings just want peace, and it's just a
It's
few
small,
at the top
yeah.
who decide to go to war.
It's just a small group of people
That's all I
who
want to
decides
say.
whether we go to war or not,
Yeah.
and they tell the media what to put into our minds, and we believe the media, and suddenly, yeah, let's get those Russians.
Yeah.
You know, it's not true.
Yeah, it's easy to blacken people.
Yeah, yeah.
It's easy to make them into a...
And the cost of it, I think you should follow the pound trail, and you'll find where these wars start from, and it's got nothing to do with what they're saying. I predicted this war, something like when Trump didn't get his next term, I predicted from that point on that there was going to be a war with Russia, and I will let you try to figure that out, and a few other things I predicted too.
Okay. Somebody asks, what makes a happy life?
What makes a happy life? Losing me, I am me. Am I, a ooh, a e. And,
Putting I for...
serving the greater good.
Yeah.
And that's what I try to do. That's what we are doing now. We are trying to set an example. It's our practice. This is we hope that if we can just if me and Ahiranta can just help one person, then we've served a greater good than ourselves. And our danger is in corruption, in becoming corrupt, is that we dwell on becoming well known and appreciated and loved and respected. That's not what it's all about. We are here for the greater good, for humanity, and we have to remind ourselves. I know we've become so famous, so rich beyond belief, so powerful in everything, in every way, so sexually attractive to everyone out there. Both of us, like, you know. But it can go to our heads a little bit.
We have to fight them off, yeah.
We have to fight them off when we go in the streets, people asking us for autographs, but it's difficult.
Yeah.
But it's hard to be perfect, but I'm doing the best that I can.
I'm coming close. I'm coming close.
We're coming close to it. We're coming close to it.
But what I always say about a happy life is keep it simple. Keep things simple, because the more you chase your desires, the more you develop wants and needs. It's like Ozay used to have his own company, and he could work all the hours under the sun until one day he realized, wait a minute, the more money we bring home, the more money goes out. So
spend more, the more
what's the point?
You stay in the same place all the time.
Yeah, just provide the basics, that you have a healthy life, that you can buy fresh fruit, fresh vegetables. If the people who eat protein can buy pure, good, healthy protein, and you can pay your electric bills, because that's all going up. But as long as you can take over and have a little bit left for pleasure, if the want and need becomes strong and you would like to go for a coffee somewhere, then you can live a happy life. To appreciate what you have instead of continuously chasing that which you desire and want. Because the
you'll
wants...
never be satisfied.
No, because the wants and desires is satisfied. Here you feel happy for a while, it weans off, and then you have to chase something else again.
Yeah.
So simplicity, that works for me.
Yeah, and don't forget that we are all energy, and there are many different forms of energy within us, and if those energies are not balanced as well, then we become unbalanced in various ways, and then we become unhappy. As soon as the energies are balanced, we know what the right thing to do is, because we've done the right thing. So keep life simple, stupid. Kiss. Yeah, kiss. Is a great saying, because that's what you need to do. Because if you have a lot of ambitions, you know, wow, I'm going to do this, wow, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I've got so many, I've got to go there, got to go there. And I know that some people, they can sit down in quiet and peace, but yet they're not really happy people when they're just like robot. When they got a lot of things to do, there's those people who can do it, I've seen, who can have a lot of things in their life, do lots and lots of things, but there's always something missing, and that's themselves. and they've never found themselves. They're always doing, never coming home to, to roost where he should be. And that's where the real joy is, where the real happiness is. And it's only those people that's really active and out there and wanting to be happy from doing all these things and doing all these things to whatever, and the family and the children and the parents and what have you. It's a burnout. It's a burnout. You just have to relax and let it all go, and cut down on all those things and find it in yourself. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. Okay, what are we doing? One more, shall we?
All right.
This is giver and taker. We always talk about the two-way street method. So, give and wait. Create a space. So, true work is not an we already talked about expectation for something back. But some people always want to be the givers, and they never give a space for the other to give back. So you turn somebody else into a taker.
Well, yeah, that's if two of equal-minded people can give to each other and not. It's sadly, you should never, ever, ever, like we spoke earlier on, I think another question related on the healing side of issues in expectancy. And in the same way, it's going to go wrong if you give, right? And it's fine to be a giver, but danger. Parent give to the children, and the children never do nothing in order to deserve that giving all the time. So what you're doing is you're conditioning a child to be in expectancy, to expect your world owes the child something because it's been brought up on that energy level of receiving, receive. I'm Lord, done a bunk, and I'm wonderful. And the mother starts it off, and the father as well can be just as guilty. Then it goes into the friendships, then it goes into the domestic relationships, and they become selfish gits with their they can become selfish gits with their children, or who knows, maybe they can do the same bad behavior. But so you have to be aware, if you're a giver, always have the attitude of give freely, but sometimes your giving can be like poison to the other person. So therefore, be aware of the implications of your giving. Because if you're giving too much to your husband, then your husband or your wife even, and they come home, they sit down, they relax, and oh yes, let me take your shoes off, let me serve you dinner, let me do this, let me do that. She's just done a day's work as well in this day and age because women are working, and let's say usually it's the woman that's giving the most in a relationship, because that's where, in the early days women were always at home, and suddenly we're in a time where women are working and men are working, and still the women are expected to come home, cook the food for the man and take his shoes off and pamper him up and all the rest of it,
and take care of the children,
and then
mostly
serve him in for the sexual needs in bed and what have you. And then one day something just breaks, because it's energy, we're energy. And if you're taking take from your spouse or whoever, let's say your spouse, then eventually you're going to break her, because she's energy, he's energy. And that comes with a lot of disruption in your life, and that will become suffering for you eventually.
It doesn't mean you need to expect things back, but you have to create a little bit of space. And if the other offers to do something, let go of that high need of control and let the other person do it in their own way, which is, according to some people, never to their liking. But that is your problem. You damage another person by trying to control and by that giving all the time. We have friends who have deeper pockets than we do, and they are always offering to pay us for a meal or anything. But another danger is that they can activate the animal of greed inside of us.
Yeah, that's right, because it's a weakness. I mean, we are born, right, as beings that find the easiest way out, you know, in life. We'll find the easiest survival solutions. And so that in these situations, like this, and I've said it, that look, I'm not perfect, right? I don't say no, I don't want that. Don't buy me a meal. I don't say no, don't buy me a meal because whatever. I'm saying no, don't buy me a meal because I don't want to feed my weakness, and because I don't want to be a piss taker. And we become piss takers. We will take advantage of people because it's bred into us. It's a survival mechanism. And if you train that into your children, that survival mechanism to come up front all the time by give, then you're going to make a little monster in the world, a little shit, and a big shit in a relationship. So what you do is make sure your children will give as much as they take, if not, give a little bit more maybe, or just be equal, and maybe is about right. And you know, is labour and reward, you give and you take, but you yourself as a person in the world, except for your family, because of what I've mentioned, you should give to the world and not expect nothing back. If you see a beggar in the street, give to the beggar, so long as you're not giving to his addiction.
Yeah.
And
it's a fine line, isn't it?
If there's old people who needs help in some way, give to the old people whatever help they need, if you can, because that's good for the old people and it's good for you.
Yeah.
But again, I remember the incident where, you know, we had Rob over here, remember? And there was an old man and an old woman, and the old fella was struggling with the bags a bit. And Rob, he's kind-hearted soul, and he said, oh, I'm just going to go over there. I said, no, don't do that. He was going to go over there and help the old fella, like. And what I saw was, and you know, this is only me. Of course, Rob's a lovely fella, and what I saw was the old fella. He wanted to look after his wife, and he took pride. He's the man, you know. And then this young sprog comes along. Hey, yeah, let me grab the bags, baby, and then let me be good, and stick those bags in the back of the boot for you, and taking it off him, the fella. It's like taking his dignity away. So you have to be, you know, there's a lot of things to be aware of.
A fine line it is.
A fine line between helping and hindering.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And like we said, the expectation, that will always ruin it, isn't it?
Yeah.
So in relationships, it's really important to allow the other to give, but don't expect the other to give.
Imagine now that fellow goes home, right? He just had a young, strong guy, not boy, help him, and he goes home. I couldn't help my wife today, put the shopping in the back of the car. I can't do it anymore. And then psychologically it becomes a breakdown for that older person. And you know, if we start giving up and everybody looks, you know, we are telling somebody they're old by taking their bags off and carrying it for them. We say, you're too old to do that. We think it's kindness, but who are you doing it for, them or yourself? So you have to be aware of that. Are you being kind because you want to be kind to yourself, or being kind to that person, and then, you know, you're actually breaking them down. You're psychologically depressing. They'll go home in the night and they'll think, I can't look after myself anymore. I have to have a young fella help me with the bags in the shopping today. That's not good. Yeah,
and people also forget, especially when you're younger, that you look and you think, oh, those people are old. But remember though, in those older people is still the young version, is still present, the young version.
Yeah, we don't get old.
No, the body changes in its ability, especially if you don't train. But there is still, the little girl is still alive, the teenager is still inside, the young, strong man or woman is still alive, and they don't want to be
That's right, yeah.
seen
So
as weak.
always be what I practice is
Be
awareness.
Yeah,
Be aware of every situation. Do the right thing if it's really right.
Yeah.
If an old guy is carrying bags, let him carry the bags, and don't try to be dominate.
Show how good you are.
Show how good you are, because that can be for the wrong reason deep down.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it then. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye everyone.
See you next time.
Have a
Thank
nice
you.
time.
Bye bye.
Nice weekend.